Hey guys, welcome to the clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson. This is my cat Tack, and today he is frustrated because we've had to reshoot this video, and he was all comfortable and everything. When I first cut on the lights, he actually jumps up and gets ready to shoot the video. He's that prepared, and now he goes back up to his seat, but he has decided he is going to sit here and join us for this video. But anyway, we're reviewing Solo, a Star Wars story. This movie was fun. I actually liked it. Now, when they first announced this whole Solo movie, I was like, why? You know, I mean, I love Han Solo, but at least we're getting a Star Wars movie, so I get excited about any Star Wars movie. I even wore my Star Wars shirt for the video tonight, and I can't believe all the backlash that this movie is getting. I mean, I don't think any of the reviews have actually been bad. You know, this review is not going to be bad because the movie is not a bad movie. People need to get out in the theater and see it. But there are a lot of reasons why it's not making money, and people are wondering what's going on. First of all, there was backlash from The Last Jedi. It was very divisive. You know, people either hated it or loved it. I hated it the first time I saw it. I'm going to be honest with you. You could check my review. I did not like this movie the first time I saw it. After I watched it a few more times, it ended up growing on me, and I liked it more and more each time that I saw it, because I started to ignore all the stuff that I hated. But there's still those problems with that movie, and I can understand why people were kind of like reluctant to see Solo if they did not like Last Jedi. I get it. You know, Infinity War is still in the box office. You know, Deadpool 2 came out, you know, a week before, and Tack loved Deadpool 2, didn't you, Tack? But anyway, you know, Deadpool 2 had just come out a week before this one did, so it still had that to contend with. There are a lot of issues with this movie that weren't just because the movie was bad. I mean, a lot of people have been going to the movies this year because there are a lot of great movies. I've gone like 15 times already to the theater. I mean, it's crazy. You know, this year is a big year, and I just looked at my list. I mean, I've got I might see 15 or 20 more before the end of the year, and I'm excited about that. I mean, but you know, it's in my budget to do that, but not everybody can do that, you know, and it's understandable. They go see, you know, Infinity War, A Quiet Place, you know, Deadpool 2. After you take the family and everything, that's a big chunk of money, and then a Star Wars movie on top of that, and it's like, oh, the last one was okay, you know, so they maybe have held back their money on this movie, and I totally understand and get that. But if you can afford to see this movie and you want to go see a good Star Wars movie, that this is the first Star Wars movie that actually reminded me of the original trilogy, out of the 4 new Star Wars movies we've had. Now, I like Rogue One just slightly better than this one, but just because it has that Darth Vader scene at the end of Rogue One. That's one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars altogether. So that's the only reason, you know, it was slightly above Solo. But that could change after I watch Solo a few more times. That could actually change because, you know, I'll need to see it a few more times. I mean, it's Star Wars, guys. I'm going to watch this movie 100 times. I've seen all the other ones 100 times. So this one's going to be no different because this one was really fun. It wasn't like so serious like Force Awakens and you know, despite Ryan, oh gosh, his name's escaping me, the director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson. You know, despite his humor, which is the one reason why I hated The Last Jedi, was the humor in it, I was afraid that this movie was going to have that same stupid humor, like spoof movie humor is what I called it for The Last Jedi. But this movie doesn't. It has original trilogy humor. It has that natural, organic humor that I love. That's my favorite kind of humor, that kind of just feels natural to what's going on in the movie. And that's the kind of humor that's in this movie. Every joke that they told, which is very limited, landed every single time. The entire audience laughed, at every moment. That there were people clapping in certain moments in this movie, and I was too. Like when Han meets Chewbacca for the first time is my favorite scene in this movie. It was awesome, and just go see this movie just so you could see that, because I've always wondered about that. Now, I knew their relationship, how it began in the EU, the extended, universe that they call it now, Legends. That's not actually canon, which they make it apparent in this movie, because the real, this is kind of close to how the original Han Solo was written. It has very similar beats. It's not perfect, but it nailed every moment, for me at least, of a fan that knows the source material and knows how Chewbacca and Han met, and there's a life debt there, because he saves them. And they did it in this movie well, and I was very proud of that fact, and that's why it's my favorite scene in the movie. Now, there's also a big cameo in this movie, and this is my non-spoilers review. You are going to have questions about the cameo, unless you know the canon. Unless you've seen Clone Wars, you're not going to understand why this character is in this movie. You're going to know the character if you're a fan of Star Wars. You're going to know this cameo, but you're not going to understand why he's in this movie at this moment in time in the Star Wars lore. So, if you guys want me to do a spoilers review for for Solo, and to more specifically explain the cameo, let me know in the comments below, and I will do that for you guys, because I know it all. I will let you know anything you need to know about that cameo. So, if you want a spoilers review, let me know, and I'll do it for you. So, that being said, the action sequences in this movie were spot on. Granted, there were some lulls in the movie. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's the best, not the best of the new ones so far, but as far as the Star Wars stories, it really landed for me, and it felt special to me, because it was Han Solo. And Alden Eric Wright, I think that's his name, who plays Solo, I think he did a wonderful job, and I was worried about that, and I think that's another reason why it didn't make so much of the box office, is that some people didn't go see this movie because they didn't want to see Han Solo that's not Harrison Ford. Hell, I didn't in the beginning, but after seeing this movie, I was like, all right, I'm on board. I mean, he played a good Han Solo, and he didn't, act like Harrison Ford. He acted like himself as Han Solo, and that was important to do, and I think he nailed it. So if you're afraid of that, don't worry. If you go into this movie with low expectations, it's understandable, but I have a feeling you're going to come out of this movie feeling very rewarded. This is a good Star Wars movie, and not just good, it's fun, and that's what's important. So go out in the theater if you get a chance to go see this movie. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, there were some lulls, there were some story problems. I thought that, kind of could have been better, which if I do a spoilers review, I'll let you know what that means. Certain reveals, that I can't spoil, are some of the problems I had with the movie. But overall, Chewbacca was awesome. Of course, I got to give credit to Donald Glover. Brilliant as Lando Calrissian. Perfect, sounded like him, acted like you think he would at that age. And this takes place, 15 years before the original trilogy. So if you're wondering about that, that's another piece of info for you. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the movie. Very well acted, directed, well shot. It had good funny elements to it that made it fun. And it was just a good Star Wars adventure. And if you have any questions for me, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll answer them for you. But anyway, have you seen Solo? Do you plan to see it? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, guys, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember, the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!